What's up, everyone? Welcome. It is Wednesday night, which means, at least this week, it's time for Mythic Conversations. It's been a while since I've been here, right? I had a couple weeks off at the start of the month, and then I was here for 1 week, and then I took another couple weeks off because I was traveling, but I'm back. I feel horrible. I definitely came home from Atlanta. Not only did I come home with a lot of really cool toys, I came home with a cold. So I feel pretty atrocious this evening, but you probably hear it in my voice, but I could not let this slip. I could not let another week go without a live show because we've got a ton to talk about tonight. It's the final week for the Beyithirr campaign. There's so much happening that sickness be damned, I got work to do. We've got to talk about the dragon. So very excited. Yeah, 1-6 shooter who I got to see this past weekend. He's saying same. He's got a cold. Blah. Yes, absolutely. Con crud. It's crazy. I got sick at ZoloCon 3 years ago, which was my first weekend as a full-time employee of the studio. I came home and got sick. I have literally not gotten sick since then. For 3 years, I did not get sick. All the people that got sick after Legion's Con, I made it unscathed somehow. So far this year, I've gotten sick twice. I came home from MegaCon and felt awful, and now coming back from Toylanta. So where have I been? Hank, it was nice meeting you in Atlanta. It was nice meeting you as well, Hank. Atlanta was absolutely a blast. Shmurma Berber saying that he got con crud after Muskegon. Yeah, so let me talk a little bit about what I've been up to besides moving into a new house. So I am actually in my new house these days. You can see kind of the new layout behind me. I'll have to do a new a collection tour at some point. Dub just recorded one last year when he was here and I up and moved. So very, very excited to have the new space. Not everything is set up yet, but a lot of stuff is set up. The legions are set up. So that's what's most important. So 2 weeks ago, I went out to Muskegon, Michigan for Muskegon. Absolutely a wonderful time. Muskegon is not a big show. Like it's a small show. It's a one-day show. It's not a great toy show. Like there's a mix of like crafts and comics or actually there wasn't comics, but comic art. Then there's some toys. It's definitely an eclectic mix. Muskegon is all about the hangouts. Like that is why you go to that show. So last year I flew in on the Friday and I had a little bit of time before we had the hangout, the Mythic meetup on the Friday night. This year I flew in a day early. So it was myself, Jim, and Brad all flew down. And we came in on the Thursday. We got to go over Travis's. The Muskegon is with the My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me crew. So we got to go hang out with Travis at his house, which was super cool. Got to see his collection and everything. Got to do some filming. Brad's been doing a bunch of filming for a documentary he's putting together. So we filmed a bunch of interview stuff there. So that was a really good night. And then Friday was like super, super cool because both of these weeks, both at Muskegon and at Toylanta last weekend, so often when I go to shows, I fly there and it's like I land, I get to the venue, I start working. It's like work, eat, sleep, repeat for, a couple days, and then I fly back. I don't get to do a lot of touristy stuff. And now I'm not complaining. I love doing what I do. I love doing the shows and meeting everybody and going out, to eat with the crew and stuff. But sometimes it is nice to do something a little different. So on the Friday, Pete McCarthy from the My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me crew. If you know Pete, he's actually a fire chief in Whitehall, Michigan, which is very, very close to Muskegon. And he said that because we, the studio, had welcomed him into our workplace and showed him around, he wanted to return the favor. So he actually hosted not only Brad, Jim, and myself, but a whole group of people that were there for Muskegon. And he took us around and he toured this like new state of the art fire department. I have never been interested in fire departments or firemen or fire engines or, firemen, firefighters, I should say. Of course, that's sexist. Didn't mean to say that. Channeling my inner Steve Buscemi, I guess. But I blame all the allergy meds. But no, in all seriousness, a really amazing fire department, state of the art. I was blown away. It was super cool. And then Mike Smith, we went to his restaurant called the Gnarly Heifer that's also in Whitehall. Absolutely amazing. We had so much fun. Great people, great food, just all great. And this was all before the Mythic meetup, right? This is like Friday afternoon after everything was done. Had this amazing burger at the Gnarly Heifer. And then we went over to the venue. Muskegon happens in downtown Muskegon. I guess Muskegon's got some like sketchy areas, but the downtown is actually super cool. Lots of really cool little restaurants right on that downtown strip. And that's really where we hung out most of the time when we weren't doing these other activities. But great group of people on Friday night at the Mythic meetup. It was awesome to see so many people like donate prizes that the My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me crew gave away. So just a super cool event. And then, of course, we had the actual show and hung out Saturday night. So that was a really fun overall experience. If you're in that area and, like I said, from a toy show standpoint, definitely not going to make the top of my list. But from a quality of the hangouts and the people, it is absolutely the top of my list, near the top of my list for the shows that I am excited to do. Now, this past weekend, at the top of my list for both the quality of the show and the quality of the people is Toylanta. Toylanta has become, this is the third year in a row that I've been there, has become one of my absolute favorite shows that I do every single year. I spend more at Toylanta than I think I spend at every other toy show combined. Check this out. I could grab something. So the Fisher Rice figure that we did, the Shadow Circle. Check out this awesome thing that Joe Vassapolo found for me on the first day. So this is literally a packaged Fisher Price adventure team set with that character. It's got the ship, and I mean, this is so cool. It's got this like super cool vintage art on it. The minute I saw this, I was like, yeah, that is coming home with me. So it's on display. I have a couple of these loose. I have two of the guy and one of the ship loose that are already on display. I have it displayed with the Fisher Rice, and now I've got this. So super excited about that. Actually, a bunch of the stuff that I got's not even here. It was too big for me to fly with, so I sent it back to the studio. But my friend Seth got me the new Sesame Street count figure from Target. So thank you very much to Seth for that gift. That was awesome. If you saw the pictures, the Sir Gerard helmet that Simple Tricks and Nonsense made me, that came home with me. So I'm super excited to put that right over here in my toy room. I actually have, you can see right there on my wall, that's where some of the art that people have given me over the years lives. So I've got stuff from Chris, from Alex, from Kirby. There's a whole bunch. I got a photo there from Kevin. A lot of really cool stuff there. So right under those is where I'm going to put the Sir Gerard helmet, because a lot of that art actually is Sir Gerard. So I figured that'd be really cool. What else did I get? I got a Shogun Warrior. Yeah, big surprise, right? Everyone who came to the booth, the Shogun was right in the back. Yeah, Radine, he was right in the back, and everyone who came up, they were like, "Oh, that's Jeremy's, right?" because they know that that's what I do at these shows is I hunt those down. So I got a Radine, really bad shape, missing a lot of pieces, really, really scuffed up. It was like $100. So totally cool with that. One of my big scores, and I know I said I was going to talk about Dragon, but there's so much happening. I want to talk about this. It's fun stuff. Back when I was a kid, there was a game. I don't know if it's by Galoo, but there was or Ideal maybe. There was a game called Jaws, right? It is a ludicrous game. It was so ridiculous because it had nothing to do with the movie Jaws, other than there was a shark involved. I never had this game as a kid, but they had one in my elementary school, and every day for recess, I would like race out to the gym to be the first person to get the Jaws game. I didn't really play the game. It's just a cool shark. But the principle, and it's ludicrous looking. Like if you look up vintage Jaws game, the box is super cool. It's got like the Jaws poster on it. But what it was, it's kind of like Operation, where you have to pull things out without zapping. The way this worked is it had a shark, and the jaws were open and they were attached with elastics. And in the shark's mouth was all kinds of junk. There was like a tire and a steering wheel, like just a bunch of ridiculous boot, probably a bunch of ridiculous stuff. And you had a little hook, and you had to go in and fish those things out one at a time. And if you messed up and hit the edges or whatever, the jaws would snap. So it's something that I remember fondly. And I was like, I really think that it would be fun to get one of those. No sooner had I thought that was a good idea than NECA recently showed that they're reissuing, like they're doing their version of that game. Talk about a crazy deep cut. Like they didn't just do Bruce the Shark from the movie, because the vintage game, the shark looks ridiculous. It's super cartoony, ridiculous looking. They made like a very real, NECA being they, made a very realistic looking like Bruce the Shark, or realistic as the shark in the movie Jaws is. But it's actually a functioning game, and it comes in a very similar package. So really cool stuff. So when I was doing the room sales, which we don't do that up here in the North, but down South, that's like a big thing apparently, where after the show closes, there's just a board, like a sign-up board in the front of the hotel with a whole bunch of rooms and like what kind of stuff they have there. And you literally just go up to people's rooms, and there's stuff laid out on the beds and the cabinets. It's wacky. It's really, really weird. But I walked into one room, and the dude had a complete Jaws game. Really good shape, packaged. Like the package had some wear, but it's like that good vintage wear where it looks like it was intentional. Like if they were making this intentionally worn, it would probably look like this. But I ended up picking up that as well. So much cool stuff. Like I said, and that's just the stuff we bought. Last year, I was very fortunate that when I flew in, Big Dub picked me up, and he took me to the Puppetry Museum. And again, for me, it was really nice because I got to be a tourist, and I got to do something that wasn't working while I was at a show. This year, we went to the aquarium. So if you know the Georgia Aquarium, it's an absolutely wonderful aquarium. They have a whale shark. That's kind of their claim to fame. But it was definitely cool stuff to see. But it was also just cool to hang out with Dub and just walk around. Dub has become a very good friend of mine over the last few years. So it was wonderful to spend some time with him and his family, because his family welcomed a whole group of us into his home on Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday night for what has become like I guess an annual Toylanta kickoff party. Wonderful food, even better people in conversation. And as George was talking about on the afternoon show today, his house is just incredible. His collection is incredible. His entire family are collectors, and they're fans of this stuff. So you can see each of their influence on the displays and what's there. Not just toys, lots of really cool art. So it's a wonderful place to go see. Now, I've seen it before. Even though he made some changes this time, it was similar. I wasn't as shocked as I was last time, but this time it was cool because George hadn't seen it, Cookie hadn't seen it, Cornboy hadn't seen it, Brad hadn't seen it. That's just the studio members. Joe, I think, was the only studio member that was here this year, besides myself, that had actually seen it last year. So very cool to be able to, see them see it for the first time as well. So great show. The highlight of the show in many ways was Beyithirr. So, a couple weeks ago, we didn't intend on bringing Beyithirr to Toylanta, and so many people asked to see it. And, we all had a hand in getting it there, but none more so than Joe. Joe really made it a priority to get this out there for the fans. He built a crate for it. Joe, handles this character. I handled the parts in Muskegon, and I didn't even have the full dragon with the dial and all that stuff. I had the stretch goal figures, and I had the fire set. And handling it was incredibly stressful, even that little part. So Joe does an incredible job of getting this thing put together, making sure that it displays well. And it did display absolutely well because people throughout that entire con, it's crazy to say. I feel weird saying it was the talk of the con, right? Because I was there and it was our booth. So it sounds very self-congratulatory. But so many people were saying that to me, so many people that I didn't know who they were. Because it's one thing when, Billy Beige comes up and is talking about the dragon. Billy Beige and Purple Gang Gang and, all of our crew that traveled for this. Yeah, they had seen the dragon before. It's cool to see it again, of course. But to get the feedback from them would be one thing, and that's great. But to get feedback from people who I've never talked to, who were new to Legions, who came up and were just blown away. I was on a live stream last night with Toy Anxiety, and there was a comment that said, that dragon, I went home with a suitcase full of Legions, like a suitcase and 2 boxes full of Legions because of that dragon. And sounded like this person saw the dragon there and was so excited and so enthused. It was like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. This is the kind of line I want to invest in and I want to collect. So it was super cool to see feedback like that. And again, very, very cool to go to Toylanta and to meet so many fans, both new and old. The chat's blowing up right now. I'm going to just go look at the comments. I never read off who's in the chat. That always seems like it takes a long time. I see a lot of other live streamers do that. Always reminds me of Romper Room. So let's see what's going on here. So hello to everyone. Let's see if there's any questions I want to answer. Drunk Gizmo saying, I did great last night on the Toy Anxiety show. Yeah, those guys are super cool. I'd been on that show before last year, actually, after the Rising Suns reveals. And then I met Craig. I've met him before, but I saw Craig at Toylanta, and he was like, oh, we have to have you back on to talk about the dragon. I was like, well, the dragon ends next week. So he said, oh, come on, that'd be awesome. So thank you. Those guys I appreciate them inviting me on. That's very, very cool. Okay. Muskegon was a blast. Chris saying Muskegon rocks. Absolutely. People saying they got COVID at Legions Con. I'm sorry. By the way, on the topic of Legions Con, we began a lot of questions. Originally, we had expected to release the tickets and the rooms in March. And then we realized we're idiots and there's, a dragon being offered in March. We don't want to take any attention away from Beyithirr. He deserves all the spotlight. So we're going to kick it forward a few weeks. By mid-April, we should have both the rooms and the tickets for sale. If you're not following us on Instagram at LegionsCon, you definitely want to do that. That's going to probably be your best way to get that information. I'll post it in the Cabal and all that stuff as well, but that's definitely a way to do it. Okay, let's see. Taco Place in the store was good. Yes, Murmur. I didn't go there this year. I went there last year. This year we went to, this is Muskegon we're talking about. We went to the barbecue place across the street. We went to a pizza place down the street. All very good. Let's see. Hopefully I can make Toylanta next year. Yes, I got a Shogun Warrior, Ray Dean. Toy Talk with Jeremy. It is. Yeah, Corn Boy saying, I got a Fallout T60 Power Armor figure that I'm so happy with. Corn Boy sent like his clothes because I sent so much of my toys in the truck with George and Cookie to get it back to the studio. Corn Boy was the smart one. Corn Boy sent his clothes back with George and Cookie so he could fit his power armor in his luggage and get that home right away. So thinking. By the way, from Toylanta, speaking of Big Dub, if you haven't seen the panel that we did about Beyithirr, it was actually a really cool panel. Like there was a lot of really good information there. I know that Tanya from Legion's Ladies recorded it and posted that. Billy Beige, Will White, he also recorded it and I believe posted it as well. I know that Purple Guys were in the crowd recording stuff. I don't think they're going to release it as is. They're probably going to cut it up and make us say things about sausages. But if you got two options there between Billy Beige or Legion's Ladies, both great friends of the studio, check those out if you didn't get to see that live. Again, it's a really good overall panel, I think. Okay. Yeah, Ricardo, I've heard Kane County is absolutely great. I'm not going to go to Kane County this year, but I definitely have to get out there at some point. I had a Rodan when I was a kid. He's definitely one I'd love to get now, but he's very expensive. Yeah, Billy Beige, Rufus, definitely your new best friend. Yeah, Shmurma Berber saying that Rodan's expensive, reiterating what I just mentioned. Hit the like button. Alberto reminds people. Thank you very much, Alberto. I do a very poor job of reminding people about that. Super chat from Oh Crap, it's Frieza. Any potential, maybe making a Beholder. I believe a Beholder might actually be a Dungeons and Dragons like proprietary character. There's a lot of monsters in Dungeons and Dragons, like a griffin or a dragon. Why did I go griffin? Literally, my other screen has a dragon right on it. There's a lot of monsters that everyone's going to think we're doing a griffin now. Son of a gun. This is why you do these live streams. This is why I don't do live streams when I'm sick, because I say things that wasn't a slip and everyone's going to think it's a slip. And I'm being, even when I don't be sneaky, people think I'm being sneaky. Anyway, there are creatures in Dungeons and Dragons that are from mythology that are fair game, but there's a number of things that were created specifically by Dungeons and Dragons, like a Mind Flayer, for instance, that you can't do that. Like you can't put out a Mind Flayer because it is proprietary. So I'm not sure if a Beholder is proprietary. I feel like it might be because it's like such a classic D&D type monster character. So I don't know. Let's see. When will the intern lottery be? Jeremy asks. Probably sometime in April or May. Barbecue Place was excellent. Calabus, I just went all in on the dragon. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're going to talk about that. Stefan Delator with a super chat. Cup of coffee for you. Chair. Stefan, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that support. Breaking news, Wholesome Warlock says, Purple Gang Gang will have a different view going up tomorrow. I can only imagine. And then he says, if that's what you want, Jeremy, I can do that. Yes, I'm sure you can. I really dislike Purple Gang Gang sausage songs because they get stuck in my head so badly. Like I'll just be walking around singing that George. Oh, no. They're so catchy, guys. So catchy. It was great to hang out with those guys this weekend. They are some of our show VIPs. Well, they are show VIPs. I meant to say show MVPs. They're both. They're MVP VIPs. Van and Jordan, the Purple Gang. Let's see. Kevin, was great seeing you at the show. Absolutely. I appreciate that. Now I'm at the point where everyone's talking about Griffin confirmed. Has AS6 hit the water yet? It should be very soon. I believe that production is done and it's on the way to port. So I haven't heard any updates beyond that yet, but I've been so focused on the Dragon. So that's really where my attention is right now. Let's see. Trying to get through all these comments. Oh, I did get through them all. Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about the Dragon. So where are we right now? Let me bring up my screen here. So what I've been doing, as you know, or as you should know, is every single morning at sourcehorseman.com, I have been posting updates about where the campaign stands. So because this is not a campaign like on Kickstarter, where you can see the updates in real time, really what we have to do instead is just update it manually on our website. Now, I've been doing it every single morning. This coming weekend, because we are in the final weekend, this coming weekend, on Saturday, I plan on doing, some periodic updates. I'm certainly going to be looking throughout the day to see if any unlocks happen. And then Sunday, I'm pretty much going to be in this room all day. I'm going to be checking, regularly to see where we are for numbers. I will be posting updates throughout the day. Minimally, I'm expecting to post hourly updates on the website. And one thing that's really, really cool before I go and we look at the numbers right now, one thing that's going to be happening this coming weekend, just further evidence at how amazing our fans are. They're doing like this 24, it's actually even longer than that. It looks like it's, because the pregame show for Purple Gang, but basically a full day of programming to end the Beyithirr campaign, almost like telethon style, right? So super, super cool. What I hope to do is jump on maybe to some of those live streams throughout the day to talk to some of the people that are on there as well. So if you're running any of those live streams, please send me the information to join. I'd love to be able to join you when appropriate, because if during your section of this telethon, something unlocks, something breaks, I want to share that right away. And I will, of course, share it on the website and our social posts, but I'd love to also go live and talk to you guys about it as well. So that's going to be really fun. I grabbed this image off the Mythic Legions Cabal. This has been shared in a bunch of different places, so you can kind of get a sense of who's doing what throughout that day. And again, everyone who's doing that, you are all badass. Thank you so, so much. So today's update, as expected, right? We had a good weekend because we showed it off at Toylanta. That created a lot of buzz. But so many people that I've seen the last 2 weekends, they were almost like apologizing for not backing Beyithirr yet. And I mean, I've been saying to everyone, dude, there's no need to apologize. I'm just thrilled that you're telling me you're planning on backing it. The fact that, I want to start this real quick. The fact that this is a campaign that there's genuinely no real incentive to back early other than bragging rights, other than throwing your support behind us right out of the gate, which, again, thank you to everyone who's done that. But I fully expect that we're going to get a flurry towards the end of the campaign. And a lot of people over the last 2 weeks were telling me that, once we get to April 1st, I get paid on the 1st, or my credit card statement flips on the 1st. So that's when I plan on placing my order. And we had a really big day yesterday. And looking at the numbers so far today, it looks like we're going to have a pretty good day today as well. So let's go kind of in reverse order, because the reality is both of the add-on sets, the Epic Wings and the Fiery Breath, not only are they funded to the point where they've met their minimums and their guaranteed production, everything that comes with those figures is now included. So out of the gate, the Epic Wings included the Ashen Zombie. Now, let me actually bring those up here. Okay, so out of the gate, the Epic Wings included the Ashen Zombie. This figure now has unlocked all of his add-on stuff. So the base figure is, genuinely what you see as the figure here. It comes with that head with the hanging jaw, and it comes with that mace. The add-on kit, or the upgrade kit, I should say, is those 2 extra heads, the hands, the shield, and the sword. Now, these are not going to be 2 separate packages. This is going to come fully packaged in a Mythic Legions, package, but it's just going to all be one figure. So it's almost like, had the accessories, the upgrade set not unlocked, there just would have been a lot less in that package. Now that it's unlocked, it's essentially like a normal figure, fully kitted out. So this one right here is fully funded, ready to go. What we've seen is... Darklair saying it's interesting that the wings have maintained a rate of 50% of the dragon pretty much the whole month. Honestly, I'm surprised that the add-on set sold as well as they did. Because I've said this before, and you can choose to believe me or not. At this point, I can't convince you if you don't believe me. When we got the prices on that, they were so much more expensive than we expected that we certainly couldn't include them as free stretch goals like some people have suggested. We knew we had to charge for them. I've mentioned that we added the figures that they come with as a way to add more value to those packages without adding a ton of cost. But I didn't know how people were going to feel about those, because the dragon is complete on its own. It's got a head, it's got wings. I know a lot of people have said, oh, the fire is essential. Okay. You don't have to have fire there. I get some people think it's essential because they really love it. And I'm thrilled that they think it's essential and they love it. But we know that not everyone would display it with the fire. So that's one of the reasons we made it separate. I've talked about this already. So I was really surprised with how much support those add-on sets have, to the point that they are fully unlocked. All of the pieces are now going to come with the set. So that's very, very cool. Additionally, I kind of almost like star of this in some ways, one of the most surprising figures. So many people I talked to this weekend loved the Burning Knight, absolutely loved the Burning Knight. So this figure not only is going to come with what you see here, this figure, everything has now been unlocked. So the default is it did come with 3 different heads, and it's got that really cool effect that looks like, the armor is kind of heating up as it gets engulfed. But this is the add-on set. This is the upgrade set that it includes, where we know some people might want to, make him fully translucent. So that's an option here as well. Plus you get that extra head. That's a really cool addition. That's the head that came with the Sir Elijah. So it's the chainmail with the skull mask in there. So that is fully unlocked. Both of those, we're at the point now where they're fully unlocked and ready to go. So let's see here. Go back to this. I'm just hanging out on sourcehorseman.com. So this is the daily update. So as of right now, we had to hit 1,000 for those sets to fund, 1,250 to unlock pretty much everything. The Fire Breath's at 1819 as of today. The Epic Wings is at 1394. So well above the areas that we had to, which is great because, I've been very kind of, Dorklair says, and it's been tough. It's been really difficult to have conversations with people who think the horsemen are lying. Some people are so jaded they can't imagine genuine people existing. It's absolutely true. There's a quote I think I've heard. What's the guy's name? the physicist. I can't remember his name. I'm totally drawing a blank on his name, but famous like physicist guy, where he basically says that like when he explains something to someone and offers proof and they still don't believe it, he's done. Like the minute that he provides the proof and they still refuse to believe it, he's like, I'm not going to argue this point anymore. Like you cannot argue with someone that doesn't want to believe it. He might not be an astrophysicist, by the way. Everyone's going to shoot me in the chat now. It's a really smart guy that talks about space. Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's the one right there. That's who I was thinking about. Yes. Thank you very much, Brian Carr. But I've always thought about that. Like whenever I interface with the community and interface with negativity, because I'm not afraid. We make decisions for very specific reasons. So when people, voice their opinions and they're misinformed, because they don't have all the information. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that they're arguing their perspective without having all the facts. So there will be times that I try to provide the facts. And if they choose that they're just not going to believe me, okay, that's their right. But there's nothing else that I can really do. So I agree, Dorclair, Bill, it has been very, very challenging. But we have been clear that, those minimum funding goals were essentially the break-even point. So the fact that they've gotten that extra support gives us a little bit of wiggle room. So we're actually able to, make this with a little bit more comfort. And that's, obviously it's a business. That's what we're looking for. We want to be able to make a little bit of profit on this so we can keep doing this and bring you more. Joe Vassapolo says, Jeremy, heads are done. So Joe is actually at the studio right now working on the 4,000 stretch goal, Beyithirr's Fury. So looking at these unlocks for the dragon, for Beyithirr. So we ended up moving things around a little bit. And originally, Sir Benegar was going to be the 2,500 unlock. And his upgrade kit was 3,000. We decided that, everyone was saying that Beyithirr needs Benegar. It's incomplete without it. So we bet on the fans and we said, if we give it to them early and we get to where we need to get to in the end, it all works out. So let's bet on the fans. Every time we do something cool for them, they return that, coolness to us tenfold. So we added Sir Benegar by default to the unlock, to the 2,000 minimum funding goal. And then that moved everything kind of down a tier. So the Sir Benegar upgrade set, that is now unlocked at 2,500 units. We're already there, right? As of this morning, we were at 2,600 units, a little bit more than that. I believe we're over 2,700 as I record this right now. And hopefully people watching this are going to get enthused and they're going to, if they've been on the fence with Beyithirr, maybe they buy one tonight while we're on air. And tomorrow morning when I check the numbers, it pushes it even higher because we're trying to get to 3,000 to unlock that Ashen Skeleton. Now, we're going to go look at Sir Benegar in a moment. We'll look at the skeleton. But at Muskegon a few weeks ago, I revealed during the Mythic meetup that the 4,000 stretch goal was a soldier character called Beyithirr's Fury. And a number of people have been prodding us in the comments saying, like, you guys got to reveal it. You've got to reveal it. We're not revealing it because we're trying to be cagey. It's not ready yet. Like I jokingly at Muskegon said, we've been hard at work at this since yesterday, and the room laughed. And it was maybe a funny comment, but it was also a very true comment. Again, we're a very small team, only a handful of us that are doing this stuff. And a lot of members of that team were at Atlanta for like 5 days. So it definitely slowed down some of our production, but we are back in the saddle. We are working on it. Joe is at the studio working on it. Let's see. Okay, so I don't have a chat here. I didn't know if it was my Teaser Tuesday chat, which if you check out that Toylanta chat, you'll know what Teaser Tuesday is all about. Is it regular size or oversized? It is regular size. It is a 1.0 size figure. So yeah, we will be, as Soul Power said, unleashing the fury as soon as it is ready to show. And yes, I'm aware that we only have a couple days left. We are working on it, but that's where we are right now. So let's look at these other figures, because this is really what we're working on right now, right? So Sir Benegar, so many people, rightfully so, were like, this character's incomplete if we don't get all of his gear. And it was pretty clear with the way this was rising that we were going to get that gear. Super excited that it is now unlocked, that we're not worried about trying to unlock that in the final hours, because I want to be trying to unlock Beyithirr's Fury in the final hours. That's really, on Sunday, that's where I want my eyes set on. I want that final stretch goal to be within reach. But this is such a cool figure. We talked about this in the panel, but when we decided that we had to do a crowdfunding campaign for this, right out of the gate, Eric wanted to do a Dragon Knight. I mean, it's low-hanging fruit, right? It's a cool thing, a Dragon Knight. But the fact that he put this together, this has got the new head on it, the new horns. The sword I mentioned on the last live stream is the sword that was actually sculpted for the Otho 2 figure. Joe was talking this weekend at the panel mentioning that it wasn't meant to be translucent, but the printers were all busy, and Dan was like, well, I can print it for you, but it's going to be translucent. And Joe was like, ooh, because Joe painted Sir Benegar. Joe was like, ooh, that's actually kind of cool. Maybe I can lean into that. And he said that he almost imagines that sword is like Beyithirr's like fire given like the form of a sword. So I was like, that's really, really cool right there. I like that a lot. So that's what we've got going on with Sir Benegar. Looking at what you get with the upgrade set. I mean, dude, this is like a super deluxe figure at this point. Everything you're getting with this. So not only do you get that Sir Benegar figure with those absolutely amazing soft goods, you're getting that extra head, which that faceplate is brand new. You're getting that sigil shield. You're getting that lance. A number of people, when we first revealed it, were kind of bummed out that he didn't have the hands with the vertical wrist to hold the lance. Absolutely, he does now. We included those second set of bracers and those extra hands. So you totally get those different movements, expressive hands and the vertical hinges. Yeah, just totally kitted out here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I got him. Oh, dude. You broke me, Joe. You broke me. Wow. So previously I had seen the normal head for Beyithirr's Fury, and Joe just sent me over the alternate head, or one of them, and it is so cool. Wow, dude. Yeah, Joe, I like that a lot, man. That looks good. We got to get that done so we can reveal. Yeah, so Sir Benegar, absolutely super cool figure. This is what he looks like under the soft goods. So we had taken this photo in case we didn't unlock those soft goods, because nothing's assured, right? So this is what it looks like without those soft goods on. But of course, everyone's going to kit this figure out. He just looks so cool with all those pieces there. So what we are headed towards right now is the Ashen Skeleton, which probably the least exciting of the stretch goal figures, but one that a lot of people requested, right? People love their skeletons. So the ashen or charred or burning, whatever you want to call them, crispy at one point, I think we called them, just in parlance. These were in the case at Legion's Con. They were never created. They weren't meant to be actual figures that were going to be released. They were just cool, like Dio elements that the Dio teams were like, hey, let's litter some stuff around here. We think that'll be very, very cool. But so many people at Legions Con, especially once we announced that it was going to be a crowdfund, so many people were like, stretch goals, we want those figures, we want those figures. So it made a lot of sense to include them. We didn't want to only include them. Like, we didn't want it to just be a bunch of those charred figures, which is why we did the Burning Knight and Sir Benegar. But this is the character as of right now that we are trying to unlock with that 3,000 stretch goal. And it bears mentioning, if you don't know this already, all of these stretch goals, they get added to the packages for no additional cost. So the way that we've handled stretch goals is very, very simple. We have a unit cost, right? The factory says if you order this many of this item, it's going to cost you X. So we, it's a math, situation, it's a math problem. We figure out, okay, based on our cost, what do we have to charge for this? But the more we sell, the more we make, we get some price breaks at certain quantities. So our unit cost comes down. All along our approach, because we didn't want to charge $550 for this. When we were originally planning this, that was not the price. That had to be the price once we actually got the cost back from the factory. But our approach to these stretch goals was, okay, if we hit a tier that gives us a price break and lowers the unit cost, instead of now making more profit per piece, let's bring that unit cost back up by adding something into the package that adds value. Let's make our money by selling a lot more units as opposed to maximizing the profit on each individual unit. Very indicative of kind of how we think at Full Horseman Studios, wanting to add more value. At the end of the day, I hope that this Beyithirr dragon comes with 3 figures. I hope that we get, and we're already getting Sir Benegar. He's coming fully kitted out. I think we're going to get this skeleton. I think this skeleton's going to unlock in the next couple days. Because looking at yesterday, looking at today, we've had some really solid days. I think that's going to bring us into the weekend where I'm expecting we're just going to get a flurry of activity. Is it going to be enough to get us to Beyithirr's Fury? I don't know. That's genuinely up to you. So let's see here. I'm going to check the comments. Joe says, I'm also very busy and slow. You're not slow, Joe. You are very busy, though. Let's see. Cornboy says, nobody knows what Teaser Tuesday is all about except Jeremy and Joe. Curtis asking a question. You might have asked this, Curtis, before I answered it. But yeah, the upgrade sets are just part of the figure. So, the idea was that, again, because of the way we did it with unit costs, when the unit cost dropped, adding the figure with all their parts would have been more of an expense than the unit cost drop. So we tried to balance those expenses instead of doing everyone, like instead of doing the zombie with all his parts, Benegar with all his parts, we had to separate those into those separate stretches. But now that they're unlocked, it's just going to be one figure. So they'll be fully packaged, but everything will be in that one package. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. His story about the transparent sword was cool. People asking about tunic packs. Yeah, that would be cool. Who knows? I could imagine us doing that. John saying Joe's making Jeremy cough up a lung. It's so good. Chris, I'm not holding out on you, man. I cannot share this yet because Eric has not seen it. Eric is not, although he did comment, that's cool. I'm messaging in the chat right now. I am on my show and people are begging to see this. Let's see if that makes Eric say, yeah, go ahead and show them. Although there is something to be said for not showing you like a photo that Joe took on his work desk with his phone just for approval purposes, as opposed to a really good shot. You know, it's always, I love behind the scenes stuff too, but I also like to see the final shots. Checking out the chat on my phone and here as things are happening. It's an exciting time. Actually, this whole campaign has been really exciting for me on a personal level, because anyone that watches this show and knows me knows that, you know, I was a Kickstarter backer for obviously the first wave for Advent of Decay. So I was on the other side of the table during those campaigns, seeing everything unroll. So to be now with the studio and running this campaign and a part of all the action, being able to speak to you all about it on, you know, obviously my show and all the other live streams that I've been fortunate enough to get asked to be on. It's very, very interesting and it's very exciting and it's very stressful. All of those things, all of the above. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what Eric says. Eric said, I leave it to Jeremy. I leave it to Jeremy, he said. So I'm going to say, I will show a teaser. So I asked which one I should share. Oh, Joe said it will be ready in about 10 minutes. So I did not plan this, but I think we may be showing a little something here tonight. Okay. Joe said, let me take a new shot with updated updates. So I think we may get to see some fury here tonight, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. We're going to keep cruising. It's exciting. Funtime Pal saying, in all seriousness, I want to say personally, I've been so impressed with how this campaign has been run, and I love how you have adjusted on the fly. Well, thank you very much, Funtime Pals. You know, one of the really nice things about being a small company like ours is we can be somewhat nimble and we can like look at what's happening and adjust when necessary. Like the Sir Benegar is a perfect example. The original design for Sir Benegar had the regular knight like bracers, and it came with multiple hands. But then when Joe got the parts, he was like, hey, I think it'd be really cool to give him the more spiky pieces there, which there's only like one set of hands, because that's an older part that really goes with that. So those other hands just kind of ended up not getting used. And it's one of those things where we were focused on one thing, and something else, like a cool aspect of using those other, the hands with the vertical hinges, that just kind of fell by the wayside for a minute. Like we were focused on one, it was like a magic trick, right? You're focused on one hand so you don't see what the other hand is doing. So when people started suggesting that it would be cool if he had those hands, it was a really easy conversation to say, hey guys, we made a change here that looks really, really cool, but had this unintended consequence. What do you think about adding the extra hands? And then in true Eric Credaway fashion, he was like, let's just add the whole lower gauntlets. Let's just add all of those. We talked about this as well at the live stream, where so many things, the reason our figures come with so many parts is because we can't decide which part to use. So Eric's always like, paint them both up and let's decide. And inevitably, he can't decide once they're painted because they look cool, and he just says include them both. We literally did that tonight with Beyithirr's Fury. Okay, very cool. Yeah, Michael, I'll talk to Eric about the Necronominus variants. It's so tough because like the Necronominus wave like shipped right at the time that the Dragon was happening. Like, this year has been so fast and furious. There's been so much going on that it's almost like we've had a hard time focusing on one thing because there's something else really big happening that we have to focus on. But at some point, I will absolutely get Eric on the show and we'll talk about the Necronominus variants, because I know a lot of people have had those questions, and it's a good question. I think it'd be a good conversation. Oh, let's see. Will there be a secret surprise by the end of the campaign? There's nothing else that we have planned. Like, we really are going into this final weekend, all eyes focused on getting to that 4,000, getting Beyithirr's Fury. But I'm being totally honest with everybody. We don't have like some extra secrets in the chamber that we're ready to, show. We need, every time we add something, changes have to happen with the box sizes and everything. So we're already where we need to be with this. We've accounted for all of these additions and everything in the way we're going to get them in. So there's nothing else that we have planned right now. But we still, as great as this campaign is doing, we still have some work ahead of us to get to that 4,000. Oh, Jeff Evans says, Jeremy, Joe said at Toylanta that Benegar's green matches closely to Orn. Will Orn change factions like others have? So, who knows what the future holds? The only one that changed factions, and he didn't really change factions, Arzak, also, he's still in the Poxus faction. Like, if you look at the website, a lot of people made a big deal about the fact that he's now in the sect of Aresius faction. He's in both still. So he's got a connection to both of them. Will Orn have a connection? Nothing planned right now, but it is cool that Orn is an Emberdellian, which, they're the dwarves that live in the trees. Beyithirr is a forest dragon. So who knows? There's definitely some potential for connection there. Wyatt saying, do we think the studio would ever sell a Beyithirr test shot? Probably not. That would just be such a nightmare to have to deal with that, but never say never. We haven't really talked about it, so I guess it could happen. How's the lore book coming? Slowly, to be honest with you. It's totally on me at this point. I need to edit the edits, and I've just been focused on other stuff. So I'm still hoping to have it out by the end of the year, or at least solicited by the end of the year, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Beyithirr stole your wallet. Yes, he's done that to a bunch of people recently. Okay. Yes, Paul, I did get Concrete. We talked about that at the start. Jeremy, how am I planning on displaying the dragon? So in the new toy room, I mentioned on a previous live stream that I'm building an island that's going to have some bookcases around it and a platform on top. To start with right now, I'm going to display some of my large scale figures like the Mondo Masters of the Universe. But down the road, I'm definitely going to display the dragons there. Get a super chat of, I guess that's Canadian, $27.99. Beyithirr, Venture Fury, let's go. Super exciting campaign. Thank you so much, Solo Sinner. I think that's what the CA stands for, but dude, it's $27.99, so that's insane, dude. Thank you so much. And then we've got William Husted, $9.99 for Beyithirr's Fury. Yes, I am just waiting on Joe, and then we'll take a look at what he's got. Let's see. Jeremy scooping his own show. Yeah. I actually asked Joe to come on tonight, but he's genuinely painting right now. So he's better served doing what he's doing than on here chatting with me. We do have 291 people watching us live right now. So that's super, super cool. And it makes me realize that a lot of people are excited for this campaign. Now, one thing I will be very, very clear and mention is this campaign is not being extended. So a number of people, I did an interview this weekend at Toylanta, and the interviewer said, so we're hearing from a lot of people that the campaign is going to be extended. And I said, you didn't hear that from us, because we've not even alluded to that being a possibility. I know there are a lot of people out there that would love this campaign to be extended. The reality is we have a very full calendar of releases for 2025, and we can't move one thing without everything else being impacted as well. So we really can't move this campaign. We can't just extend this campaign, because there's that domino effect for everything that comes out of it. So, I saw a post where someone was like, oh, I need 4 extra days. And then someone said, oh, I need 8 extra days. And someone said, oh, I need all the way till the summer. And I mean, that right there is evidence of, no matter what we decided, it wouldn't be enough. There's always going to be somebody that is not going to be accommodated by that. So I get it. It's tough. I feel bad, but okay, let's see. So we got here. I got some super chats I got to read. So I already read this one here. William Husted for Beyithirr. I read this one. Vent Your Furies from Solo Center. Thank you so much. And then we've got from Blake, Recon Rage. In a world surrounded by so much uncertainty, it's nice to know that we have one another in this amazing community, surrounded by the love and camaraderie. Love you all. Thank you, Team Horseman. And thank you to you, Recon Rage, Blake. I appreciate it very, very much. All right, let's see what other comments I got here. Hit that like button. I got some messages from Joe. Let's see what Joe's got to say here. Okay. So I got one image from Joe. So I'm going to have to download these, and then I'm going to have to email them to myself, and then I'm going to have to bring them up here. It's a whole process. It was awesome seeing it at Toylanta. Yeah, I mean, that was important to bring it there. How many dragons am I getting, Jeremy? I'm only going to get one, and I bless everybody that's getting multiples. Oh, we're going full on? Okay, let's see. So we're not going to show you everything tonight. We got to leave a little bit something in the hopper here. But I'm getting final approval, and in the meantime, I'm emailing them to myself. You're getting a play-by-play as we do this here. So we actually did a couple different tests on this figure. I mentioned before that when we were planning out the different possible figures that could come with this, with this campaign, one of the things that we had done was one of the characters that we had talked about was kind of like a soldier character to go with Sir Benegar. And it never made it past the idea stage. That was something that we ended up it didn't make the cut, essentially, which is very common, right? We put out a lot of different stuff. So there's always stuff that runs the risk of not making the cut. When we decided we wanted to do this figure, we immediately, put together the parts and started working on it. We went in a slightly different direction with the colors. And it's almost like sometimes where, if you put color on a wall, right? And you're like, oh, it looks one way in the paint store, but now that I have it on the wall, it looks dramatically different. That was one of the things. I don't know why this one keeps popping up again. That was one of the things that we had to do. We had to, make sure that it looked right. And when we put up that actual figure, it ended up, the colors ended up not being what we were looking for. So we had to go back to the drawing board and look to our existing figures to see where we could find a color scheme. Like the fact that, he used orange for Benegar. Joe did the same thing, and he went to the library to see what he could match this one to. I'm going to bring that up in a minute, but I'm just getting through the comments here. Where's the picture book at in printing? Still working on that as well, but it is going well. Rocco with a shout out. Yeah, the picture book we talked about coming out around the summertime, and I think we're still on track for that. 220 days till LegionsCon 2025. Woof. Don't remind me. So much to do. There will not be a live total, but as I said, I'm going to be updating throughout the day. Okay. So let me download these, see what we got here. So the idea with Beyithirr's Fury was a soldier character. So Benegar is a champion of Beyithirr. So we wanted a character that similarly would be a character that, fights for Beyithirr. I mean, Beyithirr, in our story, these characters, the pillars, Beyithirr, I mentioned that he's a god level character. So they have an important role to play in our story, and they have followers. These are ancient characters that have been around in mythos for much, much longer than many people realize. And we wanted them to have some cool followers. So that's what this would be. I'm talking as I'm doing things. I'm just babbling right now as I try to do a bunch of different things at once. Okay. Got a new computer too. So while I'm doing all this stuff, I'm also struggling to use a brand new machine and learn all the little challenges of that. I just downloaded them and they're not here. Come on. Okay, so there's one. Just download the other one now. The other one's the good one. The other one's the one you really want to say. There we go. Okay. Once again, thank you to everyone that has backed the Bay so far. Very, very cool of you. I think we're going to have an epic weekend. I think it's going to be a really interesting weekend. For those who have not been around for previous previous Kickstarters, I think this is going to be something cool. Okay. So just check there. So again, what we've been working on is this Beyithirr's Fury. What you're seeing is a work in progress. Everything's not here. There's some cool stuff. Actually, the alternate head that Joe sent me earlier that I was choking on, I'm not showing here. I'm showing more of the silhouette that we shared the other day as a bit of a teaser. So first things first, Joe wanted me to show this one first. As we were looking for different colors that we could match, we wanted something that would work with Beyithirr, but be unique unto itself. Like it would have, something of its own to offer. At one point, we tried to use the Beyithirr colors and just almost invert them. And that's what I was saying about where you put paint on a wall and ended up just not looking the way we wanted. So this is the figure that Joe ended up pulling out. This is a figure that a lot of people may have forgotten about, but the Elf Legion builder from the Advent of Decay wave has got a really, really cool color scheme. That's a really nice, rich gold on it, and those greens just really pop, and it's got that kind of foresty type look to it. So Joe pulled this out, and because we were going with golds and greens, again, Benegar is more greens with gold accents. So that's what we were going for. But then we wanted to tweak it a little bit. So that's where we started. And where we ended up is Beyithirr's Fury is a soldier type character that fights under Sir Benegar. So this is the start of that figure. Everybody, you are seeing for the first time here, this is the first look at the Beyithirr's Fury figure. You can see that this does use the pauldrons that come on the Sir Benegar. We had mentioned that we are only going to use those pauldrons in this campaign. Now, you're not seeing everything. There's some extra heads that come with this. There's some extra horns that come with this. There's weapons that come with this, of course. But this is a start. And I think that side by side with Benegar, this figure is going to look very, very cool. And I really like, obviously, the whole point of these, because a lot of people are like, oh, it'd be great if you had sculpted melted weapons in this. The point of these is to help fund these sets. So we are using a lot of our existing tooling. There are select new parts created like the pauldrons. This uses a lot of existing parts, but I got to tell you, I love the way these parts all look together. The fact that we've got, that's the Gorgo torso there. That's the Monkey King loin. Those pieces there, I think, really have that Dragon Knight type look to them, even though that's not how they were necessarily created. I love the shapes of that torso contrasted to those new pauldrons that Eric had actually sculpted. Now, I'm going to be honest with you here. This is the main head that it's going to come with. I actually like the alternate head even better. The alternate head is so cool, and I think you're going to love it as well. Joe's finishing this up. Brad's going to take some professional photos of these in the studio, and probably by Friday, I'm hoping to be able to fully reveal all of the shots of what Beyithirr's Fury looks like. So you got a little bit of a scoop tonight, and I see my viewer count absolutely skyrocketed. So word must have gotten out there that we were showing Beyithirr's Fury on this figure. No, this one does not have soft goods. This one, like I said, there's some stuff we're not showing yet that's going to flesh this figure out even more than I think. If you think this looks cool, wait till you see him fully kitted out, and I think you're going to like it even more. Let me check out the comments here because they are coming in fast and furious. Thank you very much, Joe, for pulling this together for tonight. Earlier today, by the way, when I said, hey, I'd love to be able to show that figure, Joe said, there's no way we're going to have it on Wednesday, but dude's a beast over there getting this done for you all. Okay. Yeah, Captain Firebeard says, nice, it's familiar yet new at the same time. Great work as always, Joe. Dennis Derby says, we made a Green Bay Packer. Yeah, the alternate heads are cool. Corn Boy said, I announced it in the Cabal. Thank you, Lord Elote. Let's see. Yeah, Brian, if we get to 4,000, he gets added at no additional cost. Jeremy, you're a rock star. Now, Joe's the rock star. I'm just the ring. I've always said that I like this is why I like doing intern for a day. I like being the ringmaster. I like the person that presents the acts. I don't actually, perform, but I get to present all the cool stuff. And that's kind of what I'm doing tonight. Yeah, Mr. Allen in the World of Toys. This figure will be included in the Dragon set if we hit that 4,000 stretch goal. So that's what we need to do here, guys. We announced it at Muskegon 2 weeks ago. Beyithirr's Fury is the 4,000 stretch goal. We're looking at a sneak peek here. Literally, Joe took this photo 5 minutes before we shared it here on the live stream. That's how quick everything is happening here. And again, that comment earlier, that was a very nice comment where someone was talking about the fact that they love how we've been able to adjust on the fly. That's kind of why we are who we are, is, we are able to do these things. We are able to have Joe at the studio painting this in real time while we've got Joe, myself, and Eric on a chat, getting it approved, making sure it looks good, and getting it shown on this live stream. And then Cornboy goes shares it in the Cabal. That's teamwork right there. Let's see. Thank you, Brick. I appreciate that. If you haven't seen that conversation I did with Brick on his show a few weeks ago, absolutely wonderful conversation. I have a lot in common with Brick from a design background and stuff and coding background. And it was very cool because that conversation, I got to talk about some aspects of what I do in design and stuff that I don't normally talk about on a lot of live streams. So if you haven't checked that one out yet, definitely do that. It was a lot of fun. Let's see what else we got here. We got is Adam Power in the chat. Very cool. Says furious. Hit that like button. Really loving this colorway. Thank you very much. Yeah, Brick saying that he had a blast. Definitely check that out. Where are we currently on Beyithirr sales? How close to 4,000? We're still a good ways away. So I believe before we were at a little bit more than 2,600 this morning. We're over 2,700 as of right now. So, I mean, we're a solid 1,300 away from Beyithirr's Fury. So we've got some ground to make up. And that's why I've, kind of been pleading to people in some of the interviews I did this weekend where I totally get waiting towards the end. But my personal plea to you is if you know you're going to back Beyithirr, if you know you're going to buy these items, instead of waiting until the end of the day on Sunday, please consider getting in a little bit earlier. Hopefully it's about the same for you in terms of when the credit card bill hits or whatever. But for us, if we get the pledges, if we get the orders earlier, whether it's, Friday or, Saturday, it allows us to see those numbers climb and we can communicate the items that have been unlocked, because as more items get unlocked and as more value gets added, there's always the chance that some of the people who are on the fence are like, okay, you know what? At this point, buy Beyithirr's 550, but for that, I not only get this full dragon, I'm now getting 1, 2, 3 awesome figures. So the quicker we can unlock these, the quicker we can have more and more people that are incentivized to back it. Success breeds success. So if you are on, if you are planning, not if you're on the fence, if you're on the fence, I hope you decide that this is for you. But if you already know you're going to back it, I totally get not backing it in that first night, not backing it in that first weekend. I know why that doesn't make sense. However, now that we're nearing the end, we've just got a couple days left. Thank you very much for getting in there and helping us unlock Beyithirr's Fury. Very, very cool. So I've got about 13 minutes left, and then my contractual obligation is done. No, I'm just kidding. I love to be here. So I'm going to answer some questions about the campaign and so forth as we end the night. So if you've got a question, hit me up. I'm going to scroll back just a little bit and see what we've got here. Will there be a map made of the new location where the 5-pillar story is taking place? Yeah, we teased the new map, Mason, at Legions Con, where we showed kind of the expanded map of Mythos. We will flesh that out for sure. What will the packing process be for a 35-pound dragon? Very careful. We got to make sure that it's protected in there. Let's see. Thank you very much, Daniel. Says, I love your customizing vids, Jeremy. Met a number of cool people this weekend that told me my customizing videos got them started. Love hearing that. My only regret is I don't have as much time to do them anymore. I really wish that I did. Who was the new guy at Toylanta? The new guy would be Brad Treadaway. So he is our videographer. That is actually Eric's brother. He's the one, he's been with us for a little while now. He's the one that shot that, speaking of Beyithirr, the Birth of the Dragon documentary that we released last year. If you haven't viewed that yet, definitely check that out. It's really, really cool. Let's see. This should henceforth be known as the Beyithirr wave. It actually says, like, on the Source Horseman website under waves released, I think it says like Beyithirr campaign. So, I mean, we're considering this a wave because it is multiple figures in this, in this offering here. Is Benegar's cape similar to Vorgus? I mean, similar maybe, but it's brand new. Like it's newly designed. We didn't take the Vorgus cape and repurpose it. That's a new cape that Eric and CJ worked on together. Take some NyQuil and go to bed. NyQuil knocks me out, so not NyQuil. I'll be doing a live purchase on Latin Legions. Well, thank you very much, Eduardo. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the super chat. I don't think if I answered the question about how I display the dragon, I mentioned I'm going to have an island. He's going to be on there eventually. Do I have the dimensions for the different packages? Tentatively, yes. Once we know for sure, we can release that so people can plan who are going to pick up. Let's see. Very cool. Did George get April O'Neil's autograph? I know he got, what do you get, Donatello's or something? I don't know. There was weird stuff happening there. Will there be figures added to the order down the line? I'm not sure what that question means, Fun Time Pals. If you mean that will you be able to order these figures separately? No, they will only come as part of this campaign, which is very different for us because we're always so focused on making everything like readily available and accessible. But again, we had to be mindful that the focus here, the point here is to get the dragon made. So all of these are part of that. Actually, a reminder, speaking of dragons, Stavros, the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive that we did for them last year, that has arrived at Big Bad Toy Store. So those orders are processing now. Now, keep in mind that figure is only available at Big Bad Toy Store. So if you have not picked up that yet, maybe after you buy this dragon, that might be one you want to pick up as well, because that's not going to be something that we have at shows in the future or anything. And the run size is fully done at this point. Like they took their pre-orders. They obviously ordered a few extras to sell after the fact, but once they're gone, they are gone. So if you're looking for Stavros the Unwavering, Big Bad Toy Store is where you're going to want to get that. Ostradamus saying my Stavros should be here Friday. Dub3 saying my Stavros shipped. Jesse, mine shipped today. Mine's on the way. Soul Power. So yeah, a lot of people picked up that Stavros. So thank you very, very much for supporting us and for supporting Big Bad Toy Store. Literally our oldest and biggest retailer. I absolutely love the team over at Big Bad Toy Store. I actually got to meet a bunch of them this past weekend at Toylanta. So that was very cool as well. Okay, so 852, again, the pre-order ends this weekend. So let me go to Store Horseman, take a look at that real quick as we end the evening. It's been great to be back tonight. Hopefully you've all enjoyed having me back after my little hiatus. I'm not traveling for the next few weeks, so I plan to be here the next few Wednesday nights talking about stuff going on. But if you go to storehorseman.com, you have a couple options, pre-order yours here or click pre-order or even just scroll down here. These are the three items that are available. So once again, the Beyithirr dragon set. And if you click on these images, I think are actually really good, where they show what comes in that package. So the Beyithirr dragon, obviously that's met the minimum funding goal, so that's unlocked. Over here, the Sir Benegard and upgrade set, that's unlocked. As we talked about tonight, we are trying to unlock the skeleton upgrade set, and Beyithirr's Fury. You can see the teaser that we put for it there, a teaser that we've now updated with you live here tonight on Mythic Conversations. This is $550, of course, plus taxes and shipping where applicable. If you are local to New Jersey or you feel like making the trip, we are doing local pickup, something we've never done before. But this is such a unique item that we did decide we were going to offer that to fans that want to take advantage of that as an option. As far as when the dates to pick them up are going to be, it's way too premature. A lot of people have been asking me when Beyithirr is expected to ship. We don't know. I want to say by the end of next year, but it's like part of me knows that we're so much further along on this figure than we would typically be at this point because we did so much work with the factory to make sure everything was right. But I also know what an incredible endeavor this figure is, and that it's going to provide challenges unlike any we've ever seen in our other figures. So part of me thinks we're ahead of the game. Part of me thinks we've still got a very lengthy road ahead of us to solve all those challenges. And we will, of course, solve them. So who knows? We will certainly keep everyone informed. That's one thing we can do for everybody is we may not always be able to predict when something is going to come out with any level of accuracy, although we try very hard to do so. But we are fully transparent. We do try to tell people, hey, this is what's going on. And every once in a while, we do deliver early. Graveyard Skeletons were supposed to be out, mid kind of 2005, Q2. And those are already in people's hands. So we do our best. Speaking of doing our best, we have done everything we could to put this figure out there into the world to get the coolest action figure dragon into collections. That's really all we can do. All we can do is create something cool and put it out there in the world. And then it's up to all of you, all of our fans, all of the Legionnaires to decide if this is something they want in their collection. And I'm thrilled that so many people have said yes to that already. I'm excited for this weekend. I think it's going to be a flurry of activity. It is going to be a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all those live streams. I'm looking forward to jumping on some of those, to updating people. This is a moment in time. Take it in. I can remember distinctly what it was like on the first Kickstarter on Advent of Decay. I remember that first day on Advent of Decay as things were just like flying. And I mean, it was less than 24 hours in that campaign, like met its funding goal, and then just unlock one after another all weekend. Very, very exciting. We don't have that kind of rapid unlock here, although we've had a few. I mean, we had 2 this week, right? We had the zombie upgrade set, the zombie upgrade set, and then Benegar soft goods like back-to-back days. So we're going to have a good weekend. I want Beyithirr's Fury. Help us make it happen, everybody. Last minute questions here. I will message someone saying, tell everybody that thank you for letting us show it. I'm going to mention that to Eric right now. The chat said, thank you to Joe and Eric for letting us show it. Very cool. Once again, thanks to everyone who supported. Thanks to everyone that came out and hung out with us at Muskegon, hung out with us at Toylanta this weekend. Thank you for Dub for his hospitality. All the fans, new and old, we love you very, very much. I will see you this weekend live on various shows as we count down the final days of Beyithirr and we get this figure fully funded. I know technically I have 2 minutes left, but I have run out of gas. My throat, I've been suppressing a cough for 15 minutes. So I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to play some happy music, and I am going to go to bed. See you later, everyone. Back to the bay.